Welcome back. In the last video, we went over one of the primary goals of this series. That is to keep the coverage of distributions evenly distributed across the different foundations of Linux. Here's how that's looking at the moment, which means we probably want to find ourselves another Fedora-based distribution. A little bit of housekeeping for those who are new here. This series is aimed at beginners. That doesn't mean that Linux veterans aren't welcome here, but things need to be easy to install and understand and use in the distribution as if a beginner was going to use it themselves. That includes installing the distribution itself, installing basic apps, and gaming on Steam. So let's head over to DistroWatch and find the next Fedora-based distribution on this list. If we hover over each distribution in the rankings list, we can see what it's based off. So CachyOS, the distribution we covered last week, is based off of Arch, the same as SteamOS. We can also see that Mint isn't based off of just Debian or just Ubuntu, but off a mixture of both. If we hover over Debian, it says independent. And the same happens if we hover over Fedora. This will be important in a moment. We've already covered Fedora, Bazzite, and Nobara, 3 Fedora-based distributions. So we need to find the next one on the list, and that takes us all the way down to entry 34, AlmaLinux. But if we hover over it, we can see it's not just based off of Fedora, but off of Red Hat, just like how Mint is based off of Debian and Ubuntu. We'll talk a bit about Red Hat later on in the video, but this is normally the part where we would go into creating a USB so that we could boot off any Linux distribution onto our PC and get it installed. We'll be skipping over that in this video, and you'll see why we're skipping over it a bit later. If you are interested in a full guide that goes from top to bottom and covers every detail, any of these videos are full guides where we go through this USB setup process very quickly. And if you need the slow version of that USB setup process, it's in this video right here. So let's move on to the next step. Over to your search engine, search for AlmaLinux. Make sure you click on the correct link. If you've seen the other videos in this series, you know that we love it when websites have absolutely no cookies notice. Download buttons front and center are also very nice. So let's click on download. This part is really cool. Offline installation is extremely important for people with bad internet. So our first option is a complete package, meaning that, theoretically, we could install this with no internet. The last thing you want is to be sitting there waiting hours for an install because it has to get so much data from the internet. The second option is for those who have awesome internet and don't mind downloading most things during install. But for this video, we'll go with the first. Click download and it should start downloading to your downloads folder. This Mac downloads to the desktop to make it easier to follow along in these videos. Once that's downloaded, plug in your Ventor USB if it's not already plugged in. Then either drag and drop or copy and paste the AlmaLinux ISO over to your USB. This Ventor USB is the setup process that we skipped earlier. Again, we'll come back to why we skipped that later. Now for the computer you want to install AlmaLinux on. To begin with, back up all the data on that computer. Even if you're not installing a completely new operating system, even if you're dual booting and not intending to wipe the old operating system, whatever the reason, back up your data because things can go wrong at a moment's notice, and once you lose your data, you find out why backups are so important. With your data backed up, shut down the computer you want to install AlmaLinux on, plug in your Ventor USB, then we'll press either the F2 or delete keys on the keyboard to boot into the BIOS. Next, we'll find the boot menu and find our USB. Again, we're going quickly through this with an explanation a little bit later. In other videos, we go a lot slower for beginners to follow along. Once we boot into the USB, we'll see the Ventor menu, we'll select AlmaLinux, normal mode is absolutely fine, and we don't need to test our media, so we'll press up and press enter. Just like Bazzite, we aren't booting into the demo mode or the try before you buy mode. We are going straight into the installer and clicking on quit will just reboot the computer. We're here to go all the way through installation though, so it's time for language, keyboard, and you know what to do with those. Next, we have a menu where we can customize our installation. Almost everything can be left as default, but the first thing that needs our immediate attention is the installation destination. Click on that and you'll be presented with all the SSDs and hard drives and even USBs installed in your computer. Make sure to select the right one, otherwise you could end up wiping the wrong SSD if you're trying to dual boot. Clicking on done will finish up this section. So far all the defaults are absolutely fine. But we're going to take a small detour over to this section. Keep this in mind for later because it will be important. Nothing needs to be changed though, as it won't make a difference when we refer to it later. Now for a user account, click on user creation and fill in your local account details. It's nice to see if this was a media or family PC, you have the option to not require a password to use this account. Something Microsoft couldn't possibly do, especially when they've used the online account only requirement in Windows 11 to essentially set up a backdoor for government officials to access your PC. But there's none of that nonsense here. Click done at the top left and now the begin installation button is available. While that's installing, let's talk a little bit about Red Hat. Red Hat is a company and Red Hat also has a distribution called Red Hat. But it's not what we're used to dealing with here on this channel or in the Linux community in general. Red Hat is one of the very few paid Linux distributions out there. That's because they're corporate focused. We won't go into the history of Red Hat here, but they've been around for about 3 decades and were bought by IBM for $34 billion. So safe to say, they're kind of a big deal. And if you spend long enough in the Linux community, you'll see Red Hat appear every now and then. But they actually contribute to open source projects, and Fedora is one of those projects. But remember when we hovered over Fedora before, it said independent. So Fedora isn't based off of Red Hat. But we won't be looking at the Red Hat distribution because people fleeing Windows are now used to their operating system being free. It's not free, they just pay with their personal data instead of handing over money, and the latter is actually a lot better because at least you know what's happening in the transaction. But trying to ask a Windows user to pick between the free Windows and pay for a Linux distribution is a tough sell, especially when there are so many amazing free solutions on the market that are incredible. So now that we're done installing, it's time to restart. If you were using a slow USB to get to this point, it won't be an issue anymore, as we should be now booting off whatever SSD you installed on. Next up is the login screen. After that, you should see the AlmaLinux desktop where you can right-click and select display settings to adjust scaling if you're using a 4K monitor or any other higher resolution than 1080p. While we're in the settings menu, let's click on appearance and select dark mode. Regular viewers might have noticed that this isn't KDE Plasma, as we're used to seeing that a lot on these distributions. This is Gnome, which doesn't get featured a lot on this channel. It's more of a macOS feel, but don't let that stop you from trying it out. We're also going to set up auto login as if this was a media PC. Go down to the bottom of the menu, then select users, then select unlock, then type in your password, then click automatic login. Clicking on the AlmaLinux logo at the top left reveals our dock below and multiple workspaces. If you don't like multiple workspaces, we'll come back to close those later. Now we'll open the Software Center in the dock. System updates are managed here, so we'll click restart and update and let it do its thing. Once our computer restarts, we can see if automatic login worked if we don't need to type in our password to get back in. No regedits required. Try that, Windows. Now for those workspaces, right-click and go back to the settings menu. You can get there through either the display settings or the settings option. Let's head over to multitasking, and if we scroll down and go to fixed number of workspaces, we can set that to 1. So we only have 1 desktop to deal with. And while we're here, let's select to show our maximize and minimize buttons, which aren't on by default. You'll see them appear on the window now, and that means we can maximize the window. So back to our software center. Let's search for Steam. And nothing will appear. This is normally due to whatever software center we have only having a limited selection of apps by default. So normally what we'd do is enable more repositories. And if we go over to this menu, we can select multiple repositories, but none of these have Steam in them. Alright, so what happens if we go to the Steam website and click download? We get a .deb file. Quick refresher, .deb stands for Debian, so we can use .deb files on any Debian-based distribution and any Ubuntu-based distribution because Ubuntu is based off of Debian. But we can't use that here. We need an RPM file. And to get RPM files, we would ideally want an RPM repository. The most popular one is RPM Fusion. Remember, our goal is to not use the terminal, so if you're looking at the screen right now saying, just open the terminal, that's not the point. Beginners wouldn't go to the terminal to find the solution. So let's see if we can do this through a graphical user interface. Let's see if we can access the RPM Fusion repository directly on the internet. We can, and we can download the RPM files. Takes a bit of digging, but first we'll try the EL section, and it's under non-free. Non-free here refers to the fact that it's proprietary software, meaning that you can't go and look at the code. So under x86-64 on EL10, we see Steam. Let's click on it and download it, EL standing for Enterprise Linux. So we should just be able to double click on this file and install it, right? It even opens in the software center, gives us an install button, and gives us a password. But then we get errors, okay? All right, maybe we need the Fedora version. Remember, this distribution is based off of Fedora and Red Hat. Back over to RPM Fusion. Now we'll select under the Fedora section, the 43 section, and x86-64. Let's go and download that version of Steam. And we get errors again. All right. So you might have noticed earlier on under EL, we had an RPM repository like download. Could we just install the repository through this? No, more errors. Okay, that's a bit troubling. So after bouncing around with this for a while, it doesn't seem that there is any way to install Steam without a terminal. Some of you might think that this is the Red Hat integration, being that this is probably more of an enterprise professional workstation focused distribution. And so you can see that in their store. You're not seeing your Discords, your Spotifys, or any of the other apps that you're used to seeing, not even alternative web browsers. But there are plenty of guides out there showing you how to get up and running with AlmaLinux. But here's the thing, all of these guides require terminal. And as we've covered many times before, requiring terminal can kind of be the Achilles heel to a Windows user moving over because they don't need to use terminal over there in Windows. It's one of the only good things about Windows anymore, but we can't even give Windows that because there are other distributions that don't require any terminal to get up and running. And if we go back to the install menu, that menu I told you to keep in your mind, we can see here that there's not really any options to enable RPM Fusion or anything else that could potentially have Steam. These are all enterprise workstation focused packages for those sorts of things. So perhaps this might explain why AlmaLinux is a bit lower. And just as a refresher, we can install Steam through Fedora without any need of a terminal. So the base Fedora version has access to RPM Fusion and Fedora repositories and all sorts of things that would make it easier for a first-time user to get up and started. Even better, Bazzite and Nobara come with Steam out of the box because they're gaming-focused distributions. But let's say that terminal doesn't scare you off. You don't really care about the no terminal challenge. Maybe you actually want to embrace using the terminal and learning all the commands. These are the terminal commands for installing the repository to install Steam. Yeah, that might scare off a few people. And rightfully so, because the big push with Microsoft and Apple back when they started gaining momentum in the 80s was the fact that you didn't have to use a terminal, which is why computers became so usable back then. Sure, there are people who love the terminal and will keep using terminal till their dying day, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But if the goal is to get people who aren't as tech savvy away from Windows so Microsoft can stop stealing their data, then this might not necessarily be the distribution for it. However, that doesn't mean AlmaLinux is a bad distribution by any means. It seems like there's a lot of good things going here between the merger of Fedora and Red Hat and the focus on enterprise and workstation Linux, because not everyone's a gamer, and some people actually want to get more work-focused things done. So AlmaLinux definitely has a place, and there's a reason it's at even position 34, because this list is about 100 long. But if we were going to, say, solve this problem, all we really need is the option to enable RPM Fusion or any other repository that has Steam and a few other basic apps in it. Maybe most professionals wouldn't use it, but for someone who wants to do professional work and game on the same system and the same distribution without having to switch between, then that would be the best of both worlds, and they wouldn't have to use a terminal. So does that mean AlmaLinux is going to rush on over and do it? No, not necessarily, and that's fine. Gamers have plenty of other distributions to work with out there. But who knows? Maybe we'll check back in with AlmaLinux 11 and see if there's a little toggle there or if there are any improvements. Because unlike Windows, most Linux distributions actually get better with time.